Hi there, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done a video, and this is one that I've been meaning to do for a little while. I would like to talk about the science fiction writer Becky Chambers, or more specifically about her book, The Long Road to a Small Angry Planet. I want to talk about this book and also its sequel, which is due out later this month, the 18th of October, which is called A Closed and Common Orbit, and they're the best science fiction novels that have been written for at least 10 years, and I just wanted to get a bit excitable about them and talk about them for a bit, because I think they're actually really kind of a game changer in the genre. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about for a bit. So, what is it about this book that completely changed a lot of stuff for me, actually? I read it at the beginning of this year. I read it in January after my friend Lucy, who is Parasol Pirate, who I will link down in the description box below, said, "You need to read this book, you need to read this book, you need to read this book, you need to read this book." So I went out and bought this book. Lots of people have described it as Firefly but with aliens, and that's a really good analogy, actually. The way the characters interact with each other, the feelings that they have towards each other, are very reminiscent of the crew in Firefly. It has this found family kind of feel to it, where they're all thrown together through necessity, and they grow to love each other through that. So it's about choosing your family instead of being born into a family. It's about acceptance, it's about understanding, which really sets it apart in the science fiction genre. Science fiction is huge, and it's a really important genre because it lets you do anything. You can have a crime story told in the future, you can have a romance story set in space. Plenty of people have done both of those things. Science fiction is a really good backdrop to make things interesting, to think about where humanity and society might end up. Lots of people think of sci-fi as being space and things like that, and that's the problem, is that in not just in literature but in TV, in movies, in video games, science fiction is a war trope more often than anything else. It's about aliens invading humanity and humanity making a last stand and rallying, and Independence Day, brilliant. And that's fun, it's good fun, but it's not smart enough. And science fiction has the possibility to push creators into thinking about where we might be in hundreds of years' time, and if that place is still war, then I'm going to be really disappointed. The Long Road to a Small Angry Planet is not about a war. It's not. It's about collaboration between species. It's about hope and kind of social misunderstandings, sure, and a bit of friction between these species, which is not surprising because human beings find it difficult within their own species to not cause this friction. But it really reminded me of the universe that they crafted for the Mass Effect games, which, granted, has more war in it because it's a video game and gamers get frustrated when there's not shooting things. But this is just so lovely, and it's such a breath of fresh air. It's about pulling together and about helping one another, and that's really rare in science fiction, which makes it something new, something interesting, and something really special. And I hope it's a direction that science fiction goes in from here on out, to be honest. And speaking of science fiction, lots of people do struggle with reading science fiction. They think it's going to be too hard for them. I think it's going to be too difficult. They don't understand quantum mechanics, they don't understand cosmology, and I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't get that, so it's too intellectual for me." But they're quite happy to read fantasy. It's the same side of the coin in fantasy when it comes to magic. I don't understand magic. I don't understand the mechanics of how it works. All I know is it's a part of that universe, and it works how the author, the narrator, tells me it does. And it's the same with science fiction. And The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, I've been calling it The Long Road to a Small Angry Planet for some time. It's a really long title. Forget that, I'm not filming this again. It's the crew of the ship in this book create wormholes. Their job is to punch a hole in time and space in one point and push through subspace and punch out at the other side, creating tunnels for, commercial reasons, so that shippers can move huge amounts of products back and forth without kind of having to deal with the massive distances in space. They can circumnavigate faster than light travel, which is impossible. And it goes into some quantum mechanics while they're doing it, which I found fascinating, but I can imagine not many people would, because quantum mechanics is really hard. It's one of the hardest branches of science out there. But you don't need to understand what it's saying. All you need to know is that they're doing this thing, they're creating wormholes, and that's it. That's it. In the same way that you don't need to know how Gandalf is setting fire to pine cones to throw at goblins. It's not important, it's the end result. It's a narrative device, and I feel like science fiction is given a bad rap for being exclusively for people who love science. And I do love science because I'm a dork, but it doesn't have to be that way, and plenty of people enjoy lots of things that I would consider science fiction that I don't think that they would necessarily pick up on. Like the whole dystopian thing. Dystopia is a branch of science fiction. So there you go. One of the other brilliant things about this book is the way it is written. It's episodic. It reads like every sixth of it or so is its own mini-contained story about this crew, with one overreaching arc that runs through the whole novel. And I could see it. I mean, HBO, Netflix, Amazon Prime, someone picked this up for a TV series. It's practically already written for you. It has definite chunks that you can read in one sitting and then stop, and then the next day you can read the next bit. And it's like, or you can binge watch it, which is what I did with it. I think I read it in about 2 days. And it's just very well written in a way that makes it very accessible. The character development builds up in a way that a TV show would. And unlike a lot of novels which tell one story from start, middle, end, it tells lots of very small kind of snapshot stories, and we get to know the characters through that. And her characters are what makes this book shine. She so much queer representation, kind of lots of alien species who have multiple genders, like more than just male female. They have pronouns to go with it, which was really refreshing and really interesting. Cross-species romance, things like that. It's so inclusive, and that's really important in science fiction, because a lot of the genre can be straight white dudes in space firing lasers at evil aliens, and that's a really colonial throwback to, times when we were going into other countries and slaughtering people. And so I'm hoping that this kickstarts a part of a new science fiction kind of genre where we start looking at inclusivity instead of conquering alien species. Because if we meet aliens, I want to know about them. I want to get to know them. I don't want to wipe them out. I think Becky Chambers is one of the most important writers of our generation. I think that her books deserve to win awards. They deserve to be made into other media, and I think lots and lots and lots of people should go out and buy them right now. They're brilliant. They're so good, and I can't wait to see where the Wayfarer's universe goes next. Thank you for watching, everyone, and hopefully you're going to see more content from me on a more regular basis now, because I'm starting to settle in to London life. Thank you.